My name is Eunice Long. I'm 72 years of age, and I arrived with my family from Ireland into Dewsbury railway station on the 1st of July 1966. Actually, I can remember that day so clearly. I was 15. I was here I've got 4 sisters and a brother and my mum. My father had moved the year earlier for work. And I can even remember what I was wearing. And I can remember it was a houndstooth, green and cream and actually would be very fashionable today. Oh, and also a pair of high heels, my first ever high heels, black and red patent, which my mother thought was totally unsuitable. They were slightly big for me, but 15, I was determined. I was grown up, I was determined to wear those high heels. That day is really, really clear in my mind. And every time I pass Dewsbury station or use it, it always brings me back to that day when I was 15 and arriving here. It was a big deal moving from Ireland, from quite a rural seaside community into a very industrialised area, but very exciting, a whole new world and opportunities opening up for us. I must admit initially though, for the first year, I didn't actually take to the place because we were far too far from the sea. But my first job as an office junior in a knitting wool company, I actually fell in love with the mills, with the industry that was around. I worked in the offices, but I liked nothing better than going into the mills and seeing all the wool being produced and the carpets and the knitting yarns. And so I really, really did come to love the area. But when I retired, I had some time on my hands. So I went and did my training with the RHS at Harlacar and did my horticultural diploma. And this is why, I have something to give to Dewsbury train station, because we're going to be redoing all the beds in the front, making far more sustainable planting and just making the place nicer, and just giving something back, because I'll never forget that day arriving here, and Dewsbury has played a great big part in my life.
Hi, I'm Ikra. I'm a designer, dressmaker, textile artist and tutor. I'm 26 and I'm from Batley. So my granddad came in the 60s. He came to work and to earn money for family who was still living back home in Pakistan. So my family's from Pakistan, Mirpur Azad, Kashmir. But when he came here, he used to work as a shoemaker, and he worked with car parts as well. And also he used to wash wools and make yarns out of them. So he was already in the textile industry at that time. And for them, coming here was a bit difficult because there was a language barrier. They didn't really understand English, and my granddad he hadn't studied, barely studied anything back home. So when he came here, he just relied on other people, other friends that come with him. A few years later, the children came, and my grandma and everybody came. My auntie came when she was 14 years old, and she came with her mother and the younger siblings. So and she started to do some studying, but because of the language barrier that she had, she only did 2 years, and she studied art and design at the Batley School of Art, which was actually in Batley at that time. I'm really grateful that I'm able to follow in her footsteps and go into the arts. My family has been key through my heritage and my aspirations. A lot of my female relatives are the ones that have given me inspiration for what I do in the textile industry. And again, with my granddad as well, washing wools, women I've never have thought, and going in the factories and making yarns. So it all started off there. But it's definitely shaped me because I can always go back to her for advice. It's not just her, it's my mother and all the other females. I can go back to them and ask them a guidance, how would I cut a dress, or how would I do this, or something like that. It's definitely shaped my career. So that identity was, I think for me, was the whole craft thing, the whole creating and making use of whatever you've got. So they would teach each other, they would learn from one another. They'd learn from family back home and then bring it here. And then I've been taught, and now I'm continuing to teach that. So that's just how it's progressed, really. Dewsbury has become a home for us. I honestly couldn't go anywhere else. I could have studied at Huddersfield University, I could have studied at Leeds University, I could have studied even further. But I decided to stay in Dewsbury College and do my degree there. So that shows that I'm I'm a home bird and I don't want to go out of my area. So I feel comfortable in Dewsbury.
My name is Ilyas Hans, and I'm 46 and live in Batley, and I've been working in the train station for over 15 years now, and my main job role is customer service supervisor, just looking after the station, selling tickets, helping the disabled people, visually impaired people, people who require any assistance around, because Dewsbury is such a multicultural people. I get so many different people from other ethnic backgrounds. So Asian people who are struggling to speak English, I do basically help them and translate for them. We're in a centre, so we can go different places. So for the airport, you can go Scarborough, you can go all the beaches, everything. So we're in the centre of the community, where they're basically the main station around all of Batley, Dewsbury, Heckman Wyke and Cleckheaton and all around surrounding areas. If you come from London or whatever, you see everything over here. You see the all the town centre, city centre, and if you go a bit further on, you see all the greenery. You can go for loads of walks, and which you might not even get in other places. I think this is Yorkshire as it is, such a beautiful place to come. So you can just sit back and relax and enjoy the ride.
Well, I'm 69. I'll be 70 this year. I started work for British Rail in 1971 in Rotherham in South Yorkshire, where I grew up, that area. I moved through various jobs around the country and then on the continent. And I came to Dewsbury because of the location of the job in 2002, February 2002. By train, of course, as you'd expect. The station, as we know, is celebrating 175 years this year, which is quite an anniversary. I first went into the West Riding pub on the station in 1997, when I was still living in Switzerland. So that was another criteria for when I moved here. There must be a good pub close by, and I knew the West Riding was a good pub. So I made it my local when I got here, and it's been my local ever since. It keeps winning Pub of the Year awards. I keep presenting them, and I knew the late Mike Field, who set it up. I knew Mike well, and he had a vision and he realised it. It was great. But there's still lots of regulars going there. I mean, I know people that were drinking in there 20 years ago, who are still drinking there 20 years later. So it's the West has its regular customers, of which it has a lot. And it has transient customers who drop off on the train, and they come from all over the country. I was with a group of them in Nottingham, where are we now, Friday on Wednesday, and I came back via Grantham because there's a pub on the station there that I haven't been in, then to Doncaster because there's a pub on the station there that I hadn't been in, and then came back to the West Riding. There's just something about it. If you work for the railway, it's attractive. It's try to have a pub on the station. It's important too. I like living in Dewsbury. I feel okay here. Feel well here. I'm a Yorkshireman anyway. I'm from the West Riding, so it's nice.
My name's Stuart Hartley. I've always lived in Dewsbury, various parts of Dewsbury, but I never moved out. Born in 1945, which makes me 77, and I have always taken an interest in Dewsbury. In fact, I do a lot of talks for local groups on social history, economic history of Dewsbury and the area. All that time ago, when they built it in, 1848, there was an underground passage under the track that was a link to the other side, and part of it is still there. And Mike Field used to store the barrels of beer in that because it was cold. And if you look down the edge of the platform from the Leeds side, you can see all the windows in the edge of the platform that lead down a ramp to go across the railway line. And in those days, the second floor part of it was a railway workers' club. The big house just across the road, that's the solicitor's office, was the station master's house. And the big car park in front was really a shunting yard. It was full of railway track. 25, 30 years ago, Mike Field bought one of the buildings and he made it into the West Riding pub. And he started doing handcrafted beers and meals. And the meals took off. It was amazing. He got a lady that had done something like 1,000 meals a day at I think it was Thomas Burnley's mill, to doing probably 100. And she put on some super spreads. He had so many beers, you wouldn't be able to say, well, to somebody, well, if you go and get that one, because 2 weeks later it wouldn't be there, it'd be another one. You got a lot of passing trade through there. People would just stop in on the way to somewhere else. And you saw and met a lot of people. And a friend of mine who helped organise this 150th anniversary, he was a councillor, and he always used to go there at dinner time. And he would talk to anybody. So he'd sit down and he'd just sit in one place and people would pass through, but he would talk to them.
If I want to describe Dewsbury train station in 3 words, I would say friendly, loads of heritage, and it's more all welcoming.
So supportive, feels like home, and comforting.
Convenient, well served, and brilliant.